So schedule this. We already every oh really? But especially when we're headed into the city.
Feels like I'm so many of these back to back.
I know. It's like,
We're a club because we're trying to get parish reports done. And now this is the change. The regular stuff done. Did you? Get it?
no,
Oops.
I would a little bit like, I mean, like you said, the shop today. It's like one, I don't know, like, so.
HJ stuff and the other ones are the bigger stuff. And so that stuff is like a lot. It worked out. No, you all did.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's fine, that's fine. I just wanted.
Yeah.
Last year, but I think just
All right. 412.
and go.
That's okay. Well, I'm moving out to.
There's not even going to be a camera, I don't know.
Oh, do it. Okay. You have at least.
I'm listening to it.
I know you really coming in.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just think it will.
Do you want, I got it printed out version.
That, look, I'm putting on that.
Oh.
It went open today.
Yeah, oh, no, you're whatever, here. Yeah, I'm gonna look up there.
I still call this. Yeah, I think it's easy, you can't really get the name to your tongue. It happens.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. And,
Wow.
yeah, see. Not at all. When I reviewed, I said, only Sarah has something to say. It's special. That's 800 words of where
So. See the girl?
oh,
Popcorn after watching. Yeah.
so you
See what
You guys. So that's all I get. That's it. Yeah, and just making sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, great, otherwise and stuff.
are we on?
Thank you guys.
Yes.
Talked
Are
about
we
it.
on meeting?
Okay, so. Well, I realized that like when Mike. And then the rest of it not working. It's okay.
I agree with you.
Well, earlier today, we was talking. You. Yeah.
Okay, it's worth this meeting for the water.
Present.
Thanks. So the. Everybody.
I did.
You need a minute, Teresa?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I took it before the
Okay. We'll come back to the minutes and go to Sarah with.
And specifically the special meeting minutes.
just regular.
The, we are ABO. I found finding a $2.
She in the right column and the auditor even. Which, yeah, she goes, because it was a standard for doing that team, but she goes, yep, I'm working out. I was like, Sarah.
So that's done and dusted. That, but I just wanted to, in this section, just revisit the issues that the auditor raised, some of which are seem to be ongoing albatrosses that I don't know how the agency all of another one seem cool, and they're detailed in this in this of the March special report. But so there's the financial organization. One thing that was not reflected in this audit was the need to transfer, was the agreement that we made when we established the flat fee or flat sort of overhead amount to the general account, and I believe we agreed on $10,000 a year, which more or less, which was kind of the thought was like covering the bulk, and then of course any other like additional fees would come out. That is something that we need to authorize.
Well, they do it in resolution committee then to us, right?
I think so. I'm curious if they already did that when they approved the budget last year, similar to the way that we talked about.
We just have to go through their minutes.
Okay. So we can bring the next meeting.
Yeah.
But, and I'll make sure.
And so does that mean that contracts that are generated out of poor housing trust fund money from January, right, that you want like the phrase so that
Absolutely, yeah. And in fact, we would have very expensive.
yeah. But going forward, and that's not that much.
Does
but,
that sound right?
you know,
Yeah,
No, no.
no, 10 annually.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So.
I'll move on. I'm not gonna make a joke. So. I'm just here, bear with me, because.
So it's either we do minutes or ask L to get a MOU authorized by, like a formal MOU authorized HTF, and this is what they get. So we just, but in writing, separately, having go over that.
Or maybe just look at the budget and see
Yeah.
what the budget
If the
authorizes.
budget is,
That's what
it's for,
potential. That's gonna be billed,
Yeah,
how you're gonna allocate the funds you're gonna build, because you're gonna have to create something that is gonna be a registered cost.
Correct.
Or
that will need to be in the law here.
part of that allocated cost.
yeah, really, but because I think what I'm hearing you say is that we needed to like justify the explicit thought we needed to do was to kind of
Regardless of.
Once we're deciding that's a that you need to identify that in the budget, I think you need to identify, this is how you, what's our, right, you cover base allocation, so you just express.
and it agrees with the. I'm curious to confirm with Michelle if we. If this is keep separate so we can track that. Because I think I can hear about financial viability. Dollars makes a big difference.
You're trying to show that each project program is going to.
Correct.
So.
And we have multiple that sustain that.
Right. So that 10K then we can think of as a contribution towards the cost of the audit, towards the cost of me and doing the ABO submissions. That's like a flat rate, but the,
All administrative and legal fees, yeah.
but legal fees is separate.
Well, I mean, broadly, I don't mean legal as you, but like I would consider the filing, like the ABO filing is a legal requirement. So
Right,
that's why
I
it
see.
need to be bucketed.
Okay. That's next week, but I just want to make sure that does anyone in the room specifically what the procedure would be like at the bank account to make that transfer. I expect you would have to go in person or to transfer $10,000 from the segregated account into the general.
we just need so it's having done this in similar processes, since it's all sort of, we would need a letter
Okay.
from the board, this board, stating we authorize the transference, and we also need to show a copy of the minute and was reflected within.
And since we're gonna do it correctly, we should have this minutes.
So the letter from this,
We do it on our letterhead that says the treasurer is authorized to make this transaction between these two accounts. The decision was agreed upon this meeting as reflected in these notes.
okay, because we have control over that. Okay.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay,
And then that creates the record across the bank, because it's managing the public entity money, and then they keep that on file and say, hey, when you get questions, this is what this board presented
That's
you to
what
make
they
the.
present.
Exactly.
So we need a motion for that? Transfer?
Well, we should
We need to confirm.
confirm first with HTF and that line item is there. Is then we can say, okay, yes, we've confirmed that that's what it's for, and then we get the motion.
Yeah.
Vote, say, let's do.
if it's not,
It is there. It's just, did it get authorized in the proper time? Like, it's either I put it on the agenda to make that recommendation, which we should probably just what to do, but if for some reason they don't have a quorum or something, and the meeting is canceled, I think there is, because of the process that we went through. I think we do. So that's kind of tied into this note about the concern about financial viability. I think the $10,000 will float up if we either continue the adoption agreement is not continued, and then we need to like turn around and say we're and so we might run into cash flow problems later in the year if they don't decide to continue the agreement or the purchase.
The $20.
Yes. Yeah. So that's just something to be tracking.
So if they make a decision not to continue, then we do keep them. Money.
Yeah. So we keep money and we get the properties back.
Yeah.
That's what Sarah's property, we could say. Are of those like the highest bidder bids in by XYZ date? It's not public auction, but what's the process there?
You're going to the process because it's HCDPA, not
Yeah.
property, right?
Yeah.
So it's slightly different than what the city does.
Right now, they are looking back for all of them.
Yeah.
That's one back.
They can do that.
Right, so get the 25, right?
Well, initiated a year period that we're still in, right? At the end of this period, they either have to, sorry, my country. I was gonna say have to buy or
Yeah, do the next year, pay more.
yeah. Okay, so those things don't result as also a beneficial short-term solution, but you could buy more.
Higher, don't we have them on staff?
This agency does not.
No, the city does. Can we vote from the city? So you.
Yeah, so we're exploring this housing authority about having access to our city grant, right? They're reviewing for renewal this month. It's possible that if you had a grant program range for that, but it would be at a cost, right? You would have to pay for their time.
Well, probably less than actually going out there looking for our own.
Right, that's the thing, is that most
And then, yeah. Notice.
having the built-in coordination with the city about if you would even find a grant writer from one or two grants in the first place because they're already so busy and they want to have larger.
Well, you don't want to
contracts.
compete with one another.
Right, exactly.
So I think I'm still struggling to discern strategically or like strategic benefits for grants that are hosted by the city versus by HCDPA versus by HCDPA or the IDA or even conceptual weakness.
Right, well, I think it depends on the program you're looking for, right? If it meant strategically better sense to the HCDA to a particular. But I think in the most cases, another entity like this.
Yeah, well, maybe, but you might have a project where you want sexualized having an acquisition to be part of the project, that might be an appropriate role for each CDPA. The whole point is where the city needed.
Because the city to purchase and acquire property is just a different legal. They're not. Understand.
Who's the grant writer?
LaBerge Group, based in Albany.
Yeah.
So that's going concern about financial viability. Segregation of duties, so that within the internal control, what do they call them? These are material weaknesses. No, this was again deficiency. So there were two material weaknesses in internal controls. The first one, keep finding about why resource loans are categorized as receivable and will discuss it this way as if it had that it likely this being a grant that HCDPA received and then loaned out. And that like it's described in the minutes that that she was hypothesizing that it would be a situation like that that would have this grant end up on our books as deferred revenue. And so I'm not sure if Brandon was aware of that. I sent by one more time to make sense of the work that I have that are correlating to these loans. That ongoing issue. And the one is a material weakness that nobody's having to make prior period adjustments because frankly, I am not, you know, a trained, there are in the year teams that are 1 year but paid in the other, or like that have to be made or that UHY recommends that I just don't have the training. I think that what solution to that problem looks like receiver consulting with the bookkeeper, or going back to UHY, which is an expense that we would incur, but that's seems like a small problem. That's all. Then the significant deficiency, there's this repeat finding that they have about the duties. So the problem is that I am the person picking up the mail, finding the checks, depositing the checks.
You're not signing.
No, finding checks, depositing the checks, books, writing checks, and I'm a part of the bank reconciliations. And I do not know, she did not tell me what the adequate duties would be. What is the standard of segregation that we could meet with the capacity that we have? Do you know, or is
an accounting procedure, but I think in the first place, you can't have the same person managing, getting the money. Right. Just,
okay?
so you either have your treasurer, you know, write their own checks and write all the checks, and you don't have control over that, so you don't money coming in, and then it's, you know, seeing all the money. Go ahead.
Maybe, I don't know, what was it, they're trying to.
But I think it would take up the most.
I want to do it for another.
He's sitting right here.
No, we've got time set up with UHY and I want to go through Nicole next week. We're gonna sit down with them
Okay, good.
to go through about like, okay, how do we streamline QuickBooks a little bit more? Because the other person basically take the steps and it's a smart approach to be relevantly where the off balances are, and then as simple as like reconciliation where we go through and say, oh yeah, X is and then in terms of like up and depositing checks, I mean it's easy for us to standard be sent to that we should have them all sent to the clerk's office, and then we come in to here and I mean, so it's like we could just grab them before.
Yeah.
Well, that's, she got a lot of credit already.
Between us, either like you would either have to just drop like so part of my contract is checking the mail when I do.
Well, where is it at?
Well, when it was at City Hall, it was for visitors. When it's just.
So I mean, like, why don't we just ask clerk's office to put it aside and get it monthly the way that we would, right?
But the difference is that's basically what's already happening. What would the person who takes it to the bank.
That's fine. I can do that after. I can do that the next day.
Okay, so you can start making deposits.
But if you're making deposits, then you're still the one signing the check, so I think you want to do it the other way around. Yeah.
So you would just
You're the one who's gonna have to write the checks.
or handwrite.
Oh, yeah, like a
Right.
brain checks out. but-
Because
Well, our vouchers, if Prince checks out, then that's a nice feature.
Out of what?
well,
Well, I know on that, but we're gonna have. Okay,
I think it's external. Post account is correct.
she's not.
so that's where we need to sit down and get everything. Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
Do you want your mail?
Yes.
Here. Let's call.
And will you lock?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, and you want me to just throw in your.
I have the thought, so you can close that, yeah.
Okay.
Right now, from my understanding is with the bank, there's 4 of us on it, right? Myself, Brian, Mr. Mayor, and you, Sarah, right?
There's 3 signers. Yeah, it's the
We're the
chair,
3
the vice chair,
signers.
and the treasurer, and then I have access to the information, but I'm not a designated signer.
She can't sign.
Okay,
Okay,
so you have access to the information.
Yeah, I can look at, I can look at the bank account.
okay.
Can you, Ryan, look at the bank?
I'm not set up
account?
for it yet, no.
Yeah, you'd have to,
I have to get
Create it.
login from
Yeah.
the bank still, yeah.
there's a hole there.
But we haven't gotten the information from it yet, so I don't have the time to do it this week, I'm gonna have to go next week to. I figure we'll fill that in when we talk to you,
Thank you so much. You're
but I didn't get anything from Lisa. Thanks, Sherry.
I mean, I think it's a good idea to talk through with UHY, what are the functions and how should they allocated
Correct.
personnel that
Even if it's just an added expense to get it to, outline for you how to set it up. It would be-
Well, no, there's no expense with that, or they're already doing like pro bono for us,
Okay,
because
part of
what
the
we need
audit.
to do is not part of the audit, like. QuickBooks is on this right now, like there are way too many items more than what this organization needs. A lot of it reconciled and siphoned down to be much more simple on the accounting indices that we have on it, that's what they're. So at least we have an accounts receivable, an accounts payable, we can effectively not, but hide the lines of loans that have been satisfied date. There's always there for historical, we're looking at the loans satisfied in 15 years at this point. Only need the ones that we're considering against our financial statements monthly.
Cause I took the class with QuickBooks at Columbia Green.
Yeah.
What can we do?
No,
The
I,
class are probably great.
Also, I took the class at Columbia Green.
Yeah.
QuickBooks.
yeah, I mean, and it was online.
No, it wasn't, you actually went.
I am, let's put a pin in that one.
It's gonna be more than a couple of weeks to learn QuickBooks.
I think that the overall point is that there are forthcoming expenses that expect coming from trying to actually with the negative in our audit. We need to incur some additional unless they're willing to do it as sort of.
That's what we have to meet them on, like, what is the range of services that we can employ on nonprofit?
Right. And
Exactly, right.
I
That's
have
it.
her on staff, I have a contract with me part-time, and she's already too busy, I'd like
Yeah.
more time for her, so
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
the other thing is that
Someone like her, yes.
I haven't been able to do this month because of all the. We need to probably likely need to pay for an additional QuickBooks license or some other method of QuickBooks. So you secure it.
Let's figure out where we can be treated. For the cloud share the account, right, be fine.
So those are, you need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
that.
have them at UHY, she's still on March.
Yeah.
So
Sounds-
I'm naming those two prevent.
Already will be in providing the internal controls that Chris's recommendation. Thank you, Chris, for the follow-up that we talked.
And then call-
No, I told.
That is it for.
Yeah.
section.
And the cloud would help with issues
Yeah,
Because right now, like to properly print the check,
it's only on this laptop.
And I give you another layer of oversight.
Yeah, even if I downloaded the software and used Perkin for it, so I can't get it.
Well, I am glad you guys.
Yeah.
I should that.
and then we'll just have to also start. You can check that.
Okay. Hey, is that? The for financially right?
Yes. Well, let me just-
All right. We're in. Oh, or is my, did you pull the back sheet up?
Okay.
So you're nobody online, it's just us?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
But
Not
All of us.
Yeah, beautiful.
National activity.
That's, yeah, literally everyone was like, it's 62 degrees out, I'm not coming. So between the two organizations right now, it's $500 ballpark. As cash assets. $24,084 is us. However, that will go down once we pay our audit for the year by $11,800. 11,800,
Yeah.
which still is not bad because we got us with next year at the time. That again, the challenge is exercised on any of the properties and then the money. And do have our one property still held over that would need to consider selling in terms of revenue to have brought in.
Yeah.
Yeah, two things that I want to before we go, like you can see it. Part of to is the foundation's treasurer was the equivalent of like an affidavit that admits that $22,000 that had erroneously on the books previously was admitted to not be paid, verified the outstanding 105, which have been received today, that comes to maturity, remind me, 2031. So that's the interesting part to all of this, is that we have a proper, if the option is exercised, or to immediately look to try to sell the remaining property that we have to not only make up the delta that would go back to HHA, but to keep the solvent enough outstanding loans that would actually see us a little problem. However, negotiations of that there's deferred. This is where it becomes deferred revenue because the realization is happening until Chris. There's no option to change schedule of payment to accelerate even partial payments.
you're gonna buy an agreement.
Right. I mean, the only options.
Jerry talked to them about this, Jerry.
And-
I know.
So.
Or just like a. What?
Well, yeah, no. I mean, look, I get it. I mean, bad foresights was HRCC at the time and HCDPA at the time to make those decisions.
Well, were they at the time they were looking at economic, decided that this was the best use of the property at the time.
Well, yes, at the time. However, that we are now, unfortunately, is that we are completely down versus revenues that are coming in, which is reflective of our audit.
It does seem like that there's a step here that was not named yet when preparing a letter to Galvin asking them to resume one.
On the 20,
On the 20.
which could our attorney take that on, please?
Is that the correct next step?
Any other consequences that he can sustain?
No, they've admitted that that they still recognize it on their book. Their audits that they have to publicly do that. And so now their treasurer signed off, yeah, we recognize that we're liable for this money. So what we need is to get a letter then on either satisfying it.
Board want me to do that?
Chris, you a letter.
Do you have a second for that motion?
All,
And then could I ask that Sarah, pull just again, I know you have all the files.
we'll sign. as well.
Right, that letter, and then also, the amortization that you think
4%.
now using. So be really clear about,
Yeah,
these are the payments that are due, these are the payments that you're gonna make on such and such a date, right? So that you both know what that is going forward.
So this, the letter. Presentation with a new, sorry.
And I want to ask a question. I want to read it. Now, he's doing a lot of this with the city. So my question is, in this bad behavior or not, not patrons, don't pay.
but it's not his fault.
It's not that.
It's not that.
Oh, it's not his
fault.
No, that's what's in the contract.
Okay.
It's not just what's in the contract, it's the time in this organization.
Okay, that's different.
Because it off, satisfied, said to the state, yep, this isn't here, and then Sarah found the paperwork. Now, it showed on Calvin's. We ended up taking a hit saying, like, yeah, we,
Right, and contacting him for the money.
and that's what we did. So it's about resuming the
Okay,
payments.
that makes it clear. You don't pay everybody.
So that even if there's a way to pick up the delta in what from 2018 on, when it was erroneously, like I would get those payments instantly, like through 2023 or through they were monthly.
They are monthly,
Yeah, so I get a letter for lack of a word. It is payment due for all outstanding in one lump sum. We're not looking to amortize any of that for them, and then they can resume their monthly payments. I think fair, you fight the bookkeeping.
To look at what they did and see if that's consistent with that.
Actually, they did not generate an error, they just calculated additional.
And interest the loan was originally.
Okay, well, let's you and I, we'll
Yeah.
set that out and then we'll write a polite request card.
What's the date of the loan? You said
2031.
No,
Oh, no, that's the 105 is 2031.
20, supposed to be, it was satisfied in 20, correct. It was supposed to be that it was initiated in 2014, so it would be next year.
Okay, so we're still closer to that. Okay, so either way, it's going to be either pay up, either, pay up,
Yeah.
and then continue to the end of the 2014. It's not like 30.
It's
230.
$450 times 12, so that's a lot of money. So it's a handful, $4,000 a year.
Right.
$5,000.
And we will revisit this after we send them all the nice letters.
Well, I'm expect that because they acknowledge.
It's just, we need to iron out the list, that's all.
And you have it on their end, so it's not that you have.
It's always, it's actually, it's always been.
We're looking at their, so
Sure.
that it was showing us, which is.
We also found evidence they were doing satisfaction note. It was just a proper satisfaction of the still a bunch of murky conflation of two old loans.
Right, and confusing. A couple of things.
That's the thing, that's what site comes in, somebody should say that.
No kidding.
So in terms of revenue, that would be the strongest path right now into getting a little bit more money in our coffers should the option payment due this year.
Yes. So
At the 20.
Option is, yeah.
Right, if we, right, the leader, the others,
11,800.
we have these. Yeah, everyone. I don't understand how that makes any sense and why it keeps going up.
That's in water.
They have said that because they've had to do so much cleanup work, but it also seems like the cleanup work it's not resolved, it just continues certain sort of searches that are not generative to just confirm that these problems are still there.
So then we have burns. Chris, you
No, I have no comment on. That's completely up to the board.
Yeah.
I think was about so that you're these issues, because regardless if we're using, we need to have.
well, this is
Proper
this is the
controls.
QuickBooks piece that you're
That-
talking about, yeah.
Yes, that and also your internal control allocation. And things like that.
Yeah, well, don't worry, I'm in this seat now and we'll clean everybody else's shit up, so.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, yeah, bill approval.
We're on bill approval. I have sent you all the outstanding invoices for me for Chris. I also previously sent you the renewal expense for the insurance policy.
Correct.
Which I think also. I was in the last meeting, we do not have grants that's not included in that cost. For application for filled out, but we just have general liability.
I'll
insurance.
generalize it.
General liability doesn't apply to the executive officers.
I'm not.
Can you send the? Sign it, right?
Just call your broker claim to you, but because my answer, typically you need a rider
Yeah.
covered.
I'm seeing.
Broker, that's what they're supposed to be helping you with.
Does, I mean, do or need for directors insurance covered for cybersecurity?
We're responsible to have the director's insurance. Did our policy lapse
Yeah, that's what that's. So specific.
in for $30 state?
But we're just now being charged that fee?
So have we been uninsured?
No, we've not been uninsured.
I'll call them. We have the.
But I assume want to authorize the renewal expenditure for the general, right? And you get a quote for the DNO?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Last month. We say that.
Last month, there was a meeting we were covered, because this last year, I had had a conversation with the broker, but there was a misunderstanding.
And who's the broker? Assured Partners?
Yes. Robin,
With GP.
they were our existing coverage.
Is this a time to maybe also around?
Yes.
Which is, you know, yeah.
I mean, it is possible last year that I don't.
No, that's okay. Can I get a motion in a second to have permission to find a better rate and more inclusive of the DNO?
So.
Well, yeah.
All of them.
Wait.
I'll hurt.
This is the chair.
Can I have a motion at a second to let Ryan look into his endeavor?
So.
For a second. So, thank you.
So as of
All in favor?
as of April 14th. The policy expires on April 19th.
Yeah. So we have to have a special meeting to vote.
Okay.
Yes, because you want to make sure you do this before it lapses. I would encourage you to maybe into the policies that if you're going to look at something else, look into the ones the city's already got, then maybe that they can help you.
And my-
I don't know.
You mean compounding them for,
Because
yeah, do you know who we use? Yes. Can you intro me? I mean, no, thank you.
Okay. And if you need calling, because I do sit on while you're at different meetings at 9 a.m. let me know.
Sometimes it'll be 8 o'clock tomorrow, Teresa. if you have a problem.
Yeah, let me know. I'll help you call, make the call.
Appreciate it. I'll go through Marshall Sterling and then I got another, one in relation that I know,
Thank you. Sounds like we're
shopping around.
holding on insurance. We have 2 other bills.
Yeah,
We need to check.
no. Computer, not my.
For Chris, for $2,092.50.
Denied.
David. For 6:30, which is just high because of the ABO work. And I did hear from an administrator at RCP, Karen, today that I have been. I'm not sure why. We're gonna go back and look at it. I believe y'all, but that there's an outstanding balance with our NCP that after this check would end. Not have the work that Chris is doing right now, this check, the outstanding balance would be about $1,000. But I only received that information today. So who is it with?
HA works separately, and it looks like they got sort of stuck in a different pile and not addressed. So,
Yeah.
and I apologize, I didn't realize that those, I was just going through some things today and realized that, so I brought it to you. I would ask Sarah to look at her record and then sorry, resolve that.
Yeah.
Well, it may have came in when the computer was at.
No, physical copies, but it's possible, it's most likely not my error.
No, like here.
Motion to do also.
So, okay, so we're looking for the motion to pay the
I'll make
interest for Sarah and Chris. Thank you. Second, so,
All in favor?
all in favor? Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now,
No resolutions or any solutions or motion?
nothing else, nothing
I
standalone.
think you need to come back to the minutes though, right,
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, we have to go back to the minutes. Okay, so go back, you're good with the minutes?
Yeah, good, Mr. Chris, I want to ask you one thing, Jerry, it says agenda, did I tell you about that?
I do that, I open just read that and I say
I
that
thought I had emailed you that,
you might have.
okay,
But
yeah, just check. Sit.
okay,
Okay, so there's 2 minutes we're doing, right, the special meeting and,
that's correct.
okay. So can I have a motion to accept the minutes? For our special meeting?
I place a motion to accept the minutes for a special meeting.
Thank you. Passed, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And then we motion for our regular meeting, right? Or minutes for our regular meeting? Can I get a motion?
All motion.
Second,
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Now, we go to full business.
Yeah.
All business.
Hudson Housing, Housing Trust Fund.
Nice presentation that, showing over the, online,
Yeah,
so I
so
didn't quite understand, it's nice. Really nice, I like the way you just press things, but everything that was said to me, very, listen.
I'm glad to, so, I'll, Michelle, she'll be happy to do that.
That was nice.
And I'll let her know earlier that she wasn't gonna be able to be here today. She also, we talked about trying to standardize the way that request for information on the fund comes to this. That's also part of why she was sending the minutes in writing and some and so the request will come in, or just, yeah, notice about
So the overall gist was that they're looking for money to the position or to extend what exactly?
Well, the housing trust fund is designed, this whole concept of it is, it's almost like a, not a loan, but it's like, it's a pot of money that's supposed to receive ongoing support, so that it can be replenished.
Right.
So EFJ was looking at different stream options. And it seems like a lot of the ones that they identified are mostly limited to like different fees related to real estate transfer and taxes related to.
Right, I saw that, the tax, that's when somebody sells and flip.
They're already working on
And
that.
that's just to keep housing trust. in
Yes, to
motion.
keep replenishing it as they spend money.
I thought it was gonna, that the whole job was gonna be from other grants coming in. Is that the problem?
What do you mean?
Like Michelle,
Didn't you get a grant? Could you get that same grant again? In another year or two?
I'm not sure.
I suppose it's possible, but
But the purpose is to build sustainability, so. If there's gonna be various initiatives that come out of that, so we want to a part of it.
What's BEN, just
EN,
BFJ.
EFJ.
Yeah.
BFJ?
Yeah, that's the housing consultant firm that was part of the wrap up of the anti-disclosure network grant that we used some of that money to hire. But then generate like inclusionary zoning on ongoing revenues on
Legislation, yeah.
yeah. Presentation. Email EFJ or her presentation. To the community land trust.
Yes.
Yeah, what seemed finding the call to have it be like. At the first round, it's been going ahead. And not having the exact number, but it looks like there's already. So. Limited by this amount. As that. So. In the order car. Expenditure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
We have
we-
not invested. Okay.
We all did it last week and
Nicole, she's weighing it, nothing is invested in it. Not like. Where we need in short, high channels like get money. Pays for a book or to quit. Books.
and charges, so then with the future. Yeah. Yeah. Fair. Wanted to know so that
And the policy.
So I suggesting the city's budget other than
Based on the minutes of the meeting.
She would submit to the city to pay her and that's
Was there,
so that means we were looking at this to be in there. So we had well, $20,000 and for instance, $3,000. For the so and with that. I say, she said 30,000 only gonna this expense. This is right. We're looking.
Road tied up. Right.
I'm wondering if we.
Whatever, but I mean,
I don't know.
yeah.
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 Okay, so if.
I was
Is that the one that she brought up at the meeting?
yeah.
So there's a whole list of things. Maybe we should try to, get that list so everyone's on the same page. Some of it was for outreach and things like that. So I think a snapshot is of what the,
I think it's just it's not as a mistake. But it's safe side.
There's a choice here. We pick a number right now. Right now, we will not approve this number, not.
wait, so we pick it next week.
Yes.
Okay, we do that, and then we can ask questions. And then we can kind of, because I said outreach, I'm curious on outreach, you know what I mean? Can we get banners, for fair housing?
If some. They actually wanted to like outreach with us who are, working 3 jobs, sometimes you gotta buy dinner. For folks.
And then we get everybody to dinner.
Yeah, food, like.
Yeah, the receptions.
real issues with that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, but you really need to look at that. So,
It's like. Planner.
Yeah, I think that's more business, business tax. I think that let's approve our house and then we can ask more questions beforehand. Because if we're able, next time we're, reduce it, but I think the more information we know, the better, for.
Really, you have it, and then if it's just. You can. Time.
But just
So you want this to be, the consultant may expend additional amounts not to exceed $5,000 during expenses required in connection with carrying out such as. What do you mean?
Okay. Printing ban. For example,
No
which,
money. I can go there, because she.
Well, that's not, yes.
What's that?
the,
You could do like a banner that we could put in them.
We ask,
I don't think so.
No, I mean, the city could, I mean, no, but I'm saying Hudson, they could do it, right? They can go and say, we're gonna get banners, every year.
That has to be procured,
Yeah.
right? This is not for those, that would be
It's
the
not.
program
But
expenditure.
wouldn't that be outreach?
This is for somebody having to print, you know, years a day, little stuff, not.
Okay.
This
So
is-
outreach would be other salary.
I don't. You have oversight, have somebody. Yeah, spend the money. Right? This is meant to be like a really small incident. Have it approved.
things come on.
No, older.
I said, it's like, what do you? Go down, North Carolina, 15.
It's 5:30, I'm not here, I mean, I think Kamal saying 5 makes sense.
Bill on corner.
Yeah,
understand it. Oh, you're right. But he was here. So that was up.
So I think. We put the number.
Well, I mean, you're signing an agreement with the city to authorize the city to incur some expenses.
Why don't we start at 1,000? And we can, and low, it started threshold, we see how it goes, and then if we increase it, it doesn't hold anything else. Is that?
I remember.
I mean, I would be even, let's go 2,500 half, and then, because at $1,000. That can add up real quick in some regard, so I would say 2,500 and see what it is, that's, that's all.
If the language in the contract was made, not to exceed $2,500 during for incidental expenses, subdivision required the HCDPA.
Okay, so that means they still have to get approval first.
Yeah.
Well,
They have to get approval from you with the, for example, if one of the ask, I guess.
if they were to the public, they would. They would,
To approve the grant.
yeah, that's in action, it has a general line, right? It's, we, the program probably has a line for outreach, but what we're saying is that meetings needs to go in free authorizing is part of a discretionary capacity.
The city would have to do that. Put in enforcement procedure.
Yeah. That's what I heard.
I mean, I have some, if we're out of stamps, I don't have to ask the permission.
We have to.
Using it. Where do you get the money from?
There's a debit card.
Okay, that is something you guys are gonna try. Because that's,
About that last month, bad idea.
well, you know.
It was-
Whatever controls you have on it, fine, I just want you to talk to them about it.
Well, last year, somebody credit card, I
As
mean,
a credit card and a debit card.
but it's still, you can use it. At your,
The person who's not the person who's authorized to write checks. Is much about that and work out what's gonna work.
But I think, but the debit. But your own personal, okay.
My debit card, if when I have to go down, or if I have to. And it's a digital check.
listen, I think she's right, because we've had trouble before, we have to get off trouble, okay?
Well, it's just a separation of duties issue and that's the, so. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so,
So are you gonna approve this resolution? Until next.
Well, I did read, we're gonna prove it next time. We just, what I saw in the motion for.
I thought she's still drafting, and we're gonna vote on it.
She's gonna, next month.
Oh, it was drafted, she said last.
It's all drafted, read it out to you. It's just a question of, you know, if this is what you want to do.
This
right?
is
We-
you governing the relationship to HCDPA.
Right, and we already have an agreement, and so the sooner you sort of paper that, frankly,
Yeah,
that we're sort of still writing checks to them without just working on a handshake extension, which is not a great.
right now.
You can if you want. So this is a right extension of the MOU, which the only thing is, I don't know if you distribute this to the board of protector at a meeting and then not take it up, or did we never distribute?
Distributed.
Okay, so it was. So this is the solution, authorizing rider two to city subcontract, which is the, it started with the original enterprise grant subcontract, and then we amended it with the to authorize the payments for the second part of 2022. Do you remember that? This rider was to authorize the chair, vice chair is authorized on behalf of the HCDPA to execute what is by HCDPA shall not this is a with some language from the two about salary and French or housing just for 2022. 55 to 61 24 for a tax is salary 1,023 and fringe for 2020 on it's an additional not to exceed 20 trucks as in connection with and only regulations consult is this for so that is document your expenses and with that is
So, a second. Now that,
well, I don't
We have
include this, so we. Agreements. So that was just. I will. And that you. Get it further
Monday,
imagination.
yeah.
So I'll be careful. Minutes anyway. I hate to have these things sort of hanging. Out.
Gave us an accrued, I could just modify.
I. Yeah.
Second motion to.